Hello, hello. Hello, hello. So I will start in like 5 to 10 minutes, just preparing some small announcement. Okay, hello everyone. So today I will try to make yet another Gameloft game. Well, I will try to make it compatible with touchHLE. So in particular, my focus for today will be a Gameloft Ferrari GT. So this one was released back in 2008 and it is quite a early iOS Gameloft game. It was ported from well, I'm not sure if it was ported first like to iOS, then to Symbian or vice versa, but in any case it's quite an interesting game. I already have some kind of progress with this one. So first of all, let me showcase where I am. So I'm currently on the development branch, and if I run it, I already have kind of working game. So here I am running it with a scale hack equal to 2. Let me see. So as you can see, it does have, as you can see and hear, it does have background music, but not all of the sounds are working in the game. So you also can notice some small artifacts. This is because of the scale hack. Let me see if I can reduce sound level a little bit. By the way, you may observe that the background music for this game does stop, and you can see, well, let me adjust a little bit the scale, so you hopefully you can see it better. Like we have a bunch of errors. This is because I guess the background audio is using either MP3 or AAC as a codec, and we don't have a full implementation. So here the background music does play like once in the game, but to be honest, I don't think this is a big deal. So we do have working menu. We don't have a multiplayer, like this is not working right now because we don't have a network support. But for example, you can start the race, though it's a bit broken on the desktop because we do not really support the orientation changes. And by the way, this is a crashing right now. Yeah, so I'm not sure I will be able to showcase fully this game. So, but maybe I could try to broadcast it from my phone. So let me see. I think we will start with the development part, and then I will see if I can also capture the thing from the phone, because on the desktop, as you can see, we don't have the full layer implemented, but it may work on Android. Okay, so as you can see here, well, I hope you can see, I do have a branch called temporary, and it will contain some hacky modifications, like I made implementation of CF locale country code, CF locale get system, some game specific hacks. I will talk a little bit more about this, and also some UI text field constants. So I will start, I guess, by so let me bring some background music, and the goal for today is to improve the compatibility with this game, and in order to do that I will start first with I will switch first to the trunk, so the trunk branch. Let me see, and I will also pull the latest changes from the Git in order to see if no, it's okay. In any case, I switch to the trunk, and now if I try to rerun the game, it will probably crash. So let me do that. Yeah, so you are not seeing it because this is off screen, but basically it is crashing right away because of null page access error. So right now what I want to do is to bring the full, the beta support for this game, so at least it can load to the menu on the trunk of the touchHLE repository. So the first thing what I will do in this case, I will load the binary in the Ghidra. So if you are not aware, Ghidra is an open source reverse engineering tool, and I will just check at which moment this game is crashing. So hello. Yeah, well, I think I am trying to improve the compatibility in general with many games, but Gameloft games, the early one, are proven to be very much successful on this regard. So yeah, I'm trying this yet another Gameloft title. So right now we have a crash, and touchHLE on this kind of crash are printing the state of the registers. And here I could not really use the PC, but I can use LR. So I copy paste this address and I check inside the Ghidra itself what is going on. So it's crashing right now in the function called getUserCountry at this line of the code. So this is address of execution at which we have a null page access error, and as you can see, it's trying to access key CF locale country code, and this is apparently okay, so this is a link register, so this is like the next instruction. So I need to check before that, and actually it is crashing on trying to call the function cf locale get system. So let me go inside well, not inside, let me search the Apple documentation about this function, and let me see if I could extract some, if I could understand what is going on and how I could implement that. So cf local get system returns the root canonical local, well, local or locale, I don't know how to pronounce it. So the root locale contains fixed backstop settings for the all local information. So apparently this is kind of fallback locale to be used if for example the country of the user is corresponds to the localization what is not present in the localization files of the application, it will use the local one, the system one, as a fallback. And I'm not quite sure yet how to properly implement that behavior. So right now, if I search for the cf locale in the code of the touchHLE, we can see what we already have some of the function currently implemented. So for example, just like yesterday I implemented cf locale copy current, which actually will use the the locale associated to the current user, so current locale, but we do not have anything related to the system locale yet. And basically what I'm thinking of doing is to create something called system locale, like we already have a current locale, but we also can create the system locale, and we can reuse it in order to implement the function which is called cf locale get system. Now what I also want to figure out is how like real iOS is using this function. So for example, what I could do is I could run the iOS simulator inside the virtual machine, and I can kind of probe different like functions and see what is the return of those functions. So for example, here this is a test application which prints with nslog the cf locale copy current and cf locale get system. So cf locale get system, it's the one what we are currently trying to implement. So as you could see, we do have output for both of those locales. Like here it does output it in some debug form, but I think the important part here, what it outputs some kind of a real object, in the sense that it does not output like null or nil for this part. And so the next thing what I want to do, I want kind of probe the counterpart of the NS locale. So if you know a little bit about iOS, we have a Core Foundation framework, and we have just foundation framework. And more often than not, those objects are toll-free bridged. So it's written here inside the documentation what CF locale is toll-free bridged to NS locale. What does it mean for touchHLE? What on the most part we are instantiating the NS locale object. So for example, we have a definition of NS locale object here, and then someone like the application called the CF locale under hood inside the implementation we reuse the NS locale object. So for us kinda the CF locale and NS locale, it's basically the same objects. Okay, so getting back to the virtual machine, what I want to check is I want to check for NS locale the different attributes. Like when you create NS locale as an object, like when you query it as an object, so I assuming for the CF locale get system, the counterpart will be a class method calling to system locale. And yeah, I want to see which information this locale will contain on the simulator of iOS. So for example, one thing what is interesting for me is locale identifier, because basically this encapsulates the information about the locale. Let me see. So I already kind of tried it just by sending the message, so saying just like NS locale, current locale, locale identifier, but for some reason it does not work into the simulator, and I'm not sure why. Like, okay, no, it's actually working, sorry. I mean, the locale identifier for the current locale is returning the ENUS, and the system locale is just returning the empty string, which make me think what we can actually just return empty string all of the time with the object for the system locale, and we should work. Like if it's work on the iOS simulator, it should probably work for touchHLE as well. Okay, so let me go back once again to my virtual machine running the iPhone OS simulator. Now, the one thing what is currently implemented in touchHLE is country code. So if you have a look at the implementation of NS locale, you can see what we where it is here. So we have NS locale host object, and we think what we kind of maintaining for the NS locale currently is country code. So the methods what, so for example, we have object for key method, which returns the country code. And yeah, so probably I could try to use that method in order to check the information. What made you pick this specific game this time? Do you pick randomly, or does this one seems easier when deeply analyzed? Yeah, so this is a good question. I kind of have a collection of the games and from time to time I just try to see if I can make some of them to work with touchHLE or not. Like if I can just scroll around the different temporary branches what I have in my repository, you can see this is like, I don't know, maybe few dozen if not hundreds of the different game, and most of them are really in the broken state. But sometimes as the project continue to grow and we do have some advancement, like for example, I guess it is worth showing on the stream, like we do have commits on most of the weeks and days past month. So the point what I'm trying to make here, what we do have a lot of progress. Well, I do have and we as a project have a lot of progress recently, and more games are starting to work. So if you have a look at the UpDB, like we are nearly 149, so we 149 4+ games which are compatible with touchHLE. But in order to answer your original question, I kinda choose randomly. So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work out, but for the Gameloft games we do have some substantial progress recently, so it is natural to try and see if more could be made compatible with touchHLE. Right, so what I was trying to do, I was trying to actually call this method, I guess, in my test program. So right now, if I try to check for the language code, for some reasons, even with the current locale, I have crash right now inside the simulator. So what is happening is it is saying what the language code is unrecognized selector, which is very strange, because if we check once again into the documentation, the country code is it should be present. So I'm not quite sure what is going on. Maybe I will try this object for key in order to be sure it is working as expected. And now I think maybe it should be not a method called, but just like the accessor, something like this. So I'm not sure if it's actually work. It will work. No, it will not. Yes, so in this case, let me see if I can rewrite this a little bit better. So let's see current, and I will just allocate it like this. And we also need to have a system one, like the system locale as well. So let's say sys, and here we will call the methods just like the ordinary messaging in the Objective-C. So let me see once again, like it should crash for some reason because it does not know this selector. But we should be able to obtain the language code using the object for key, and here we pass something like ns country code. I don't remember how it, ns locale country code. ns locale country code. Yes, no. Yeah, so don't hesitate to ask mostly any question inside the chat, and I will try to answer to best of my knowledge. So I assume it does like this part, but it doesn't like still the language code. So let me just stop and copy paste it. Yeah, hello Francie. So as you can see, we do have the language code now using ns locale country code, and it's actually just returning null. So yeah, I think we can do the same way, like here. I will just, so let's start with definition of the CF local get system. So here it will be like get system. Yeah, so I think I will put it here. So let's work on the definition of this function. So I do need the environment. This is kind of touchHLE thingy what encapsulate the state, kind of the God state of the emulator, and we need to pass it for each call and declare it for each definition of the functions. And that's it. So here it does not take any arguments, but it does return the CF local ref object. So, and I will also need to define it here without any arguments. So what I want to say, what basically I want to return the ns locale system1. So as you may remember, we do have ns locale counterpart, and we have a method called system locale. And yeah, so the generic locale what contains fixed backstop settings. Use the system locale when you don't want to any localization. Yeah, so this is what kind of we already saw during our tests, because it's basically returned null for the language code. Okay, so let's get back to the implementation. Yeah, so basically we do not take requests for the games, and I could not say what any particular game will work with touchHLE like anytime soon. So some titles might work, some titles might not work and may never work. So we never know. Okay, so here I do have CF local get system, and now if I try to run the code, it should crash inside touchHLE code, not inside the application code. And as we can see, we have an unknown selector because this one is not yet implemented. And I want to do it kind of in the same way as the current locale, but we will just provide some stubs. System locale. We already have implementation for the current locale, and it works as following. We try to check if the object was previously created and store it into the state. If yes, we just return it. If not, we do initialization of this object and we return the new one. So this pattern is very common in the Objective-C code. It's called the lazy instantiation. It's not only the Objective-C pattern, but here we are using it in Rust. So if you check for any reason the touchHLE code base, you may find the similar patterns of instantiating the objects. So for the moment, I will just copy paste that, and I want to define the system locale the same way. And I will say what I want to use the system locale here, system locale, and for the host object, we will just initialize it with country code equal to nil. So nil, this is a special object in the Objective-C. It basically means that this is a null state object. Like in Objective-C, you can send the messages to the objects, and nil will just consume the message without producing any meaningful output. So I can add the simple comment as was confirmed on the iOS simulator. Okay, so we do have now the simple implementation of the system locale, and yeah, so let's see if we have some progress here. Okay, sorry. So we do still have a crash, and this is still about attempting to dereference the null page, but the actual address is a different one. So if we check in Ghidra, we actually advance for few instructions. Like previously we was somewhere here, and now we are here. And so now the issue is probably because undefined KCF locale country code. So what I want to do right now is make a temporary commit about the system locale, and also we can check what is actually producing the same output as the iOS simulator. So if we go now once again here, and I would comment out the locale identifier because it's not yet implemented. And yeah, I think we can actually do, well, a little bit better, because we can actually reuse the CF locale functions here and directly call object for key on them. So let me see if it's working. Yeah, so as you can see, we still have some kind of output, and I would also comment this part out. So this is a test program what is running with the iPhone OS simulator, and now I want also to run it with touchHLE itself, and we have a trick for that. We will build for the iOS device, and build failed because I don't remember why. Yeah, I don't remember why I need to include AV foundation. It doesn't need for this particular test program. Okay, so we do have a test program built for the iOS device, and hopefully we can now run it with touchHLE. So let me see. If I remember correctly, I do have already, yeah. So I'm now running it the same test program, but now with the code compiled in touchHLE, and as you can see, we do have the same output, kind of the same output about language code. So if we compare with our source of truth, it's basically the same string. So I'm more or less confident in this implementation. The only part what I'm not particularly sure about, it's get function, so CF locale get system, and if I check inside like, let me restart the music. So what I was not sure about is about the get role. In Core Foundation on iOS, when you work with, well, to repeat, when you work with the Core Foundation, you have different ownership rules to follow. And here we have a get rule. And get rule basically says what you don't own the object. So if you receive the object from a Core Foundation function other than creation or copy function, such as get function, you don't own and cannot be certain of the object lifespan. If you are unsure what such an object is not disposed, you should claim ownership. And this should be okay in our case, because we do own this object. Like the touchHLE owns this object, we allocated it here. It means what we do have a newly created object, and reference count of this object is 1, and we retain it for the lifetime of the application. And thus it is okay to implement it in this way. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with this part, and I think I can commit it directly to touchHLE repository. So I will just run the linter and some formatting functions. And yeah, I think I can commit it to the repository just after. Yeah, sorry, running a linter is taking some time, so you can listen to some nifty music produced also by Hikari. Okay, cool, so now I can commit it. So here I'm on trunk. Let me check which files I have. So I have modifications in the NS locale, and I do also have some modifications in CF locale. And I'm saying what implement CF locale get system. So it's committed, and I will push it to the trunk off camera. Sorry. Git push, get it. Okay. So we can check briefly if it does get properly committed or not. So here this is a list of all the commits on the trunk branch of touchHLE. And yeah, it's taking a little bit time. Yeah, so I do have my comment here, and it should be built. Okay. Now, what I want to do is take some kind of break and actually build the different version on Android. So I do have a temporary branch here, and I think I can modify it a little bit in order to incorporate my current changes on the trunk and build on Android, and hopefully show to you the current state for this game. So I would like to delete this one because it was already pushed. And let me see, if I build now inside my IDE, it should show me the menu of the game. No, it does not show to me the menu of the game. Let me check again. What do I have here? Okay, I think I need to rebase it on the trunk. And I also need to solve the conflicts. And I think this situation is pretty typical when you try to work on the sufficiently complex code base with the different branches. So here I think this is missing the nil. So like this, I can hopefully fix it. Yeah, and also as you can see, I'm mostly waiting for the builds. Well, here it was fast, but it's not always the case when you working with the Rust code. And let me see what is the state. Its status. So I could probably just continue the rebase, and here it doesn't really matter because I have these changes only locally. And now if I run, I should have at least the menu working. Okay, so here it should be good, but this is not yet available on the trunk. This is just my temporary branch for the moment, and I would like also to build it for Android. And for building on Android, you need to use the Android Studio. And yeah, this is kinda not the best experience, let's say. Yeah, so once again, I'm just waiting for this to install on the device, and let me see if I can bring it on the screen as well. So I will temporarily put the music on pause, and I go back to the so let's see if I can do something like this. So yeah, this is the mirroring of the screen from my test Android device, and I want to showcase the state of the Ferrari GT. Yeah, hopefully I can also provide some music here. I'm not sure how to do the transformation, so let me see for the master volume. Yeah, it should be better like this. So right now I'm holding the Android in the portrait mode, but it will turn back. So I can turn it here, but not on the screen. Sorry for that, but I just want to showcase actual race itself. Actually, let me see if I could restream it into the proper resolution. Yeah, sorry, this is a bit unfortunate, but I just need to figure out how to use the tool what I'm using to copy the screen from Android, and to see how to lock the orientation. I remember it was possible, but I don't remember the particular command for that. So let me try something like orientation, and let's say 90. I don't know, record orientation. Orientation. Yeah, okay, this should be better. So as you can see, this is the screen recording from Android, and I'm running it in the Scale Hack 2. By the way, you could not hear the music anymore because it was, as I said, we have some bugs with the music. But if I go to the menu and I come back to the game again, we do have music, and I hope you can hear it. Yeah, so this is just to showcase the current temporary state of the game, and this is not yet available on the trunk, but hopefully we can have some version of this game working. Yeah, so let me enable music again and see where I am in terms of the development. So I was on the temporary branch, and this is kind of 3 commits what I would like to support on the trunk. But if we go back to the trunk and we try to launch the game again, it will probably crash. Yeah, so we do have a crash here on this address. And it is because we do not have yet the definition for this constant. So if I check inside the log output of touchHLE, it says what we do have unhandled non-lazy symbol, and it basically means what this symbol is not known and is null. And if we go back to the Ghidra and check what is happening, this code tries to load this symbol, but because this is not defined, it basically tries to access the null page. So one of the straightforward way to address that is to actually define the constant, but this is only half of the problem. So I could, as a first step, I could go to the CF locale and define the constant. I already have the part of this implemented on my temporary branch. As you can see, I have a VIP work in progress CF locale country code, and I do have also already some constant predefined. So I will just copy paste this part. I will import necessary imports. And then, what else? So I will try to rerun the game and see if it's changed. No, it will not change anything because I forgot to use the constant. Because I also need to update the constant list. Line 26, just after CF dictionary, CF locale, and now if I run, I should see another crash, hopefully. Yes, so now we have the thing what is not implemented, and basically what is happening is the game is trying to load, is trying to get value using this constant as the key on the current locale. So it's calling cf locale get value. And in our implementation of cf get value, this is a pass through to the object for key of the ns locale. And we only support right now ns locale country code. And here it will crash on this line because this is not yet implemented. What I want to check right now is I'm going back to the virtual machine, and I actually want to check if the language code of the current locale answers to. So right now we want to see how to properly implement querying for key cf locale country code, and I want to see if I have so let's say I do have a current locale which is the object what I am getting by calling the current locale on ns locale, and it does work. I want to run it on the simulator, and it does work if I call the object for key. No, I have a small issue here. I need to remove an extra argument, and now it should work. Okay, so I do have the language code if I use ns locale country code. But now what I want to check, what if I use cf locale country code, do I get something? Because I'm using the key from cf locale in order to access the ns locale, and it seems it's working, though it is saying to me what the pointer type is incompatible. Yeah, I'm not sure if so. Maybe the proper way of implementing that is to have a look of how we have implemented in our cf functions. So I do remember what if we have a look at cf string part, we do have an object, we do have a helper method which converts from one encoding to another, well, which actually encodes the relation between cf string encodings and ns string encoding. And I think we can do kind of the same conversion. So as you can see here, before calling any ns string method, we convert the encoding from the cf string encoding. So I kind of want to do the same for the use case of cf locale country code. Yes, so I'm not entirely sure how to implement that in the best way possible. Let me see. Okay. Yes, so I guess we do have two possible way of implementing that. So either I can say something like KCF locale so I could say something like this, meaning what when we call the object for key, even if the key is CF locale something, we do return the proper country code. And as we have seen just a few minutes ago in the emulator itself, it seems to work. Like here I have a NS locale object and I am querying object for key using CF locale one. So yeah, this is kind of the same implementation. And if I do it this way, hopefully we have some progress. Okay, so we do have now the intro, but then we have some complications. This one will not be an easy fix. Like this assert is something very devious. But let's go back to the KCF locale country code. So I think this is kind of okay, but the part what I'm not liking, what we are mixing here, the core foundation realm and foundation realm, what is not really the cleanest way possible to implement that. But maybe it's okay, maybe it's okay. So what I want to say is note, this is not a cleanest separation of this is not the cleanest let's say separation between foundation and core foundation. Let's say NS and CF. So I just want to write some kind of useful comment to explain why we are mixing NS locale and CF locale. And I have, it's not the cleanest separation between NS and CF, I don't know, parts. But it does work on the iOS simulator. Okay, so I want to commit this part as well. Yeah, and so let me see if I can write some kind of meaningful comment. So what I implemented here is define KCF local country code and support it in CF local get value. and we have comment explaining why we are kind of mixing NS and CF constants. And we could also check inside the simulator what are the actual constants. So if we do something like NSLog, and I will just say constants, I will pass the two things. So first I would like to pass the NS locale country code as the parameter to this function, and second I want to pass CF locale country code, and we should see if they are equal or not. I bet they are not equal. And we do have bad access. Where we do have a bad access? Oh, this is annoying. Like, okay, so I need to define the proper argument here. Okay, let me try to rerun it. Okay, so it is very interesting because it seems like NS locale country code is defined as CF locale country code key. So actually, if you want to be fully compliant, this should be defined as CF locale country code, but I don't think this is matter that much. Let me add a to-do here. To-do, define NS locale country code as CF locale country code. Yeah, so I added a to-do, I'm running the lint again, and hopefully I can commit this part so we can have at least an intro screen supported on the trunk. Okay, and I will push it to the trunk just in a few seconds. And let me see. So this built like 27 minutes ago, and let me see about another one. Yeah, so this is currently a running build. Cool. And we go back to our application. So we do have another crash, and I already have the commit what is meant to deal with that. So I will just cherry pick it. And it's kind of a nasty one because it's a game specific hack. Yeah, I don't have much to say about this apart what it's ugly, and it's ugly because we don't have a full proper implementation yet for the perform selector on the main thread, and would a 30-bit version be possible? So okay, let me answer on this properly. No, the 30-bit version, so I assuming you want to run a touchHLE on 30-bit host device, and it is not possible. We already have a lot of issues like where is the 30-bit version, Android with 30-bit processor, and the answer is always the same. It's technically very difficult to make, and we will not spend our time supporting the 32-bit version. So yeah, unfortunately no, it will be not supported. Okay, so let me go back where I was. So perform selector on the main thread with object wait until done. It's kind of the hacky part, and here it's double hacky part because I need to bypass the start movie, but also they try to input and remove input text and init text input and remove text field on non-main thread by calling the perform selector on the main thread, and the hack is just to bypass it by performing directly. So I already kinda test this and it does work. So here we can go to the initial screen and then we can go to the game. And as you can see, let me just bring master volume to 0. So the point what I want to make is what we do indeed need to apply the game specific hacks for this game. So as you can see here, this is one, because we are skipping the movie. And right now, if you go to the carrier on the initial screen, it will crash because we need to define few more constants. And the error here is again null page access. And if we have look at the program counter again in Ghidra, we can see what this time it's UI text field text did change notification. So this one we actually could support because we do have a support for the notifications and we do have support for the text field itself. But I think for the moment, for the purpose of this stream and this game, I will just define the text field, just define the constant, but I will not implement the functionality related to this notification. And this is a part of UI kit. I'm just thinking what is the best place to define it. I guess in the text field itself. So if we go to the UI text field, we are not yet having the part about the constants, but we have something similar in UI application. So let me just copy paste this part and probably I can put it somewhere like at the beginning, maybe here. So I do want to define this constant just like this. And I want to define it here as well. And I would say what those are the NS notification name values, and then I need to use these constants the same way it is used for the UI application, for example. Okay, so let me see UI kit, UI application, and actually UI text field. So if I say something like, for example, here UI kit, UI view, UI where this is defined, I always like forgetting this part. So it's UI kit, UI view, UI control, and then UI text field. UI view, UI control, and then UI text field. UI control, UI text, yeah. So this should be fine now. Let me try to run it again. So now we do have a menu again, but the question is, does it work when I go to the career tab? Okay, nice. Cool. Yeah. So it now does go to the career tab, and I want just to write some kind of to-do explaining what we do need to implement the change. So actually send notification on text change. This is not particularly difficult to implement, but it's a bit cumbersome and it's a bit tedious because you need to have NS notification. You need to have NS notification center object. You need to create a default center object. Well, create or access, and then you can send notification when text change. So we need to keep track when the text changed, and we need to send a notification. It's totally doable, but I will not do it right now. I just put a simple to do. And yeah. Okay. Let me see. So I want to say what I defined constant, and the name of the constant is UI text field did change notification. Constant. I'm not sure why this part was modified, because I don't really want to modify this part. Yeah. Let me see if the linter agrees with me. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I can commit this. And so now it should run, and I should be able to bypass the career screen. So let's see once again these beautiful Gameloft and Ferrari logos. Okay, so career, I entered something on the keyboard, I press OK, and now we can pass. So I think now it will crash on the actual 3D part of the game. Yeah, so here once again we do stamp on the part what is not yet implemented for the desktop, but it should work on Android. So what I will do here, I will indeed commit and push this part, and I will call it a day, because basically it does work now on Android. I will try to showcase the Android part again. So let me see if I can build the application, and I need to connect it to my test Android device. And hopefully this will be equivalent to the preview build what should be available on the GitHub page in like 15 minutes of something. So I just pushed the change, and hopefully in 20 minutes or something it will be available for anyone. Okay, so right now I will launch it on Android, and I will also pause the music, and we will see if I can make the capture working as well from the phone. Yeah, something like this. So let me see, I want the scale hack, and I want to run the Ferrari. Okay, so it seems to work. And now let's see if I can go to the carrier. I can. And let's just click around and see if it's working or not. So I'm in carrier mode, and it means what there is some stuff to, like some missions to do and to progress. I have not played it that much, but let's see. So this is the favorite part of the stream, like the live testing. The one thing what you can notice is what the sounds are not working. Like we do have a working, what is going on? We do have a working music, well, at least what it's not working on repeat. We have somehow working music, but the sounds, like the sound of the engine, for example, it is not playing. And this is because like there is a part of API which is not implemented yet. And this is quite tricky to implement, but at least we do have a background music, like sometimes we do have a background music. боже мой. The controls are a bit wonky, so I'm not sure how to control this very well. And I'm not even sure what is the mission. No, I don't want to restart. Like, as you can see, as you can hear again, if music stops, but I go to the menu, and when I go out of the menu, it starts to play again. So, not even sure what I need to do in this part of career, but so far, as you can see and hear, the game is running, and I don't have no new unlocks, and I have knocked down 39 obstacles. Okay, well, I think that's it for today and for the game. We can, for example, also finish the stream by submitting the AppDB report to the application database. So let me do that. If you don't know, we have an application compatibility database for touchHLE, and I need to sign in. And here, let me see if we already have. Yeah, we already have Ferrari GT in Evolution. I don't remember which. I have a different versions, so this is 1.1.0, and we need to submit a report for a new version. Display name Ferrari, and let me see, bundle identifier, I think it's indeed Gameloft Ferrari. Minimum iOS version is minimum iOS version is 2.1, and I am using the brand new preview build. Operating system is Android. And yeah, I don't remember which version of Android I'm using. Let me see what I used last time. Yeah, Android 13. So this is kind of the same. GPU, I can copy paste it from my previous report. Scale hack does support it, but we do have some issues, so it's partially supported. Rating is 4 stars. Let me see. Let me see if I can make a screenshot. playable. And video are skipped. Videos are skipped. Background music does not loop. Sounds are not working. Yeah, so for me this is kind of 4-star games, and it's only Android, but I will not mention it into this report. I will post it as well in the chat. But you will be able to see it only when it will be approved. And yeah, I guess that's it for the today's stream. So I was able to make the Ferrari GT compatible with touchHLE only for Android, but that's it. So do we have any questions from the chat? Are the people still around here? Because I have no idea. Okay, so thanks everyone for coming today. I may do some similar streams, but we will see how it goes into the future. And please don't hesitate to check the main repository of touchHLE, subscribe to my channel, and also check out the music, because during this stream I was using the music which was done by Hikari, and you can find link into the description of this live stream. Okay, thank you, bye.